On January 1st, 1973, following an overwhelming endorsement from the Irish people, Ireland joined the European Economic Community.
Our historical and cultural reference points are rooted in European traditions.
Ireland's remarkable progress over 5 decades would have been unimaginable without our membership of the European Union.
Early 1970s Ireland was an underdeveloped country with a mainly agricultural economy that was overly dependent on export trade with the UK, where prices were low.
Irish agriculture was hungry for expansion, hungry for modernisation.
People in this area anyhow are nearly all farmers, and I think if we don't get in, that we're going to be left out in the cold.
Joining the EU was transformative for Irish agriculture.
The Common Agriculture Policy provided the stimulus that was necessary to modernise their farms, and many did. They got support to diversify their activities, and they had access to markets.
By the 1990s, Ireland had shifted from an agricultural to a knowledge-based economy, with successive Irish governments having encouraged US multinationals in areas such as IT, pharma and financial services to establish Irish bases. And in Europe, the launch of the European Single Market in 1993 would be the springboard that this new export-driven economy needed to really take off.
The single market itself was actually transformational. Extraordinary development where barriers for trade in goods were removed. This meant it was much easier to do business.
The adoption of the euro in 2002 and access to the single biggest trading bloc in the world would be instrumental in driving the growth of Ireland's dynamic high-tech sector and set the country on course to becoming the exporting powerhouse it is today.
Young women today in Ireland don't realise what it was like 50 years ago when Ireland joined.
Attitudes and customs are very much against the rights of women in the employment field. They're discriminated against in job opportunity. They're discriminated against in the rates they're paid.
In fact, the marriage bar meant that once you got married, you were out, you couldn't work, and this was extraordinary.
New EU gender equality laws introduced in the 1970s put an end to the outdated marriage bar and made it law that for the first time, Irish men and Irish women would receive equal pay for equal work.
Europe was huge for women because it did transform their lives. Over time, our membership has really addressed the issues of equality, gender equality.
By introducing laws protecting maternity leave and pay, and the health and safety rights of pregnant and breastfeeding workers, the EU has continued to empower Irish women in the workplace.
Ireland hasn't changed geographically. We're still on the periphery, but politically we have come to the centre of Europe.
Ireland lies at the heart of Europe. Ireland has made Europe a better place.
Throughout our membership, Ireland has hosted many successful EU presidencies and has held many prominent leadership positions in EU institutions and agencies.
Irish representatives have sought to build relationships with others, and I think that's how Europe makes its progress.
Inspired by its peaceful origins, the EU was vital in helping to bring Irish, British and Northern Irish counterparts together to forge a trusting relationship that would ultimately lead to the Belfast Good Friday Agreement.
The philosophy that created European Union and the peace of Europe is a philosophy, if you study it, that is at the heart of our agreement.
And when the UK voted to leave in 2016, the EU stood by Ireland to ensure no agreement would be reached that would threaten that peace.
What really matters are the people of Northern Ireland and Ireland.
By continuing to generously fund peace and reconciliation programmes, the EU is ensuring that this generation of young Irish citizens continue to know only peaceful times. With its European Green Deal, the EU is leading the world on climate change by firmly committing to being the first carbon-neutral continent by 2050. And as a member state, Ireland has a major role to play.
Ireland is a wind energy superpower. You can become a net exporter of energy and help the rest of Europe replace Russian fossil fuel.
50 years on, and Ireland has gone from one of Europe's poorest countries to one of the fastest growing economies in the Eurozone. The population has grown from 3 to over 5 million. And thanks to the freedom to study, work and travel, modern Ireland is a diverse, multicultural and youthful society.
This is a country of proud Europeans. And today, all other Europeans look up to Ireland. You have become a beacon for Europe and the world.